want to welcome everyone back to the City Treasurer Student Intern Program. And this is our second meeting, and there won't be any other students added after today's meeting. So what we're going to do initially is just simply go around the room, and you're going to introduce yourself as to what school you attend, and also what's your favorite subject. Okay, what school you attend, also what grade you're in, and what's your favorite subject. And we're going to start on this end here.
My name is Tiffany Harper. I attend City Honors High School. I am in 10th grade, and my favorite subject is sociology.
My name is Regina. I'm attending Morningside High School. I'm a 10th grader, and my favorite subject is math.
I'm Lady Gancha. I'm going to go to 7th grade. The school I'm attending to is Lennox Middle School. My favorite subject is language arts.
My name is Avery Atuk. I'm in 11th grade. I go to Pacifica Christian High School. My favorite subject is European history.
My name is Imani White. I attend Culver City High School, and my favorite subject is biology.
My name is Naima Lamb. I attend View Park High School. I'm in 11th grade, and my favorite subject is pre-calculus.
My name is Kennedy. I'm in the 8th grade. My favorite subject is science, and I attend View Park Middle.
My name is Kimberly Rochard. I go to LACES. I'm in 10th grade, and my favorite subject is history.
My name is Destiny Grace Chapron. I'm in 9th grade. I attend City Honors High School, and my favorite subject is math.
My name is Ryan Landry, and I'm in the 6th grade, and I attend Frank D. Perrin Elementary, and my favorite subject is science.
My name is Anthony DiBrzito. I'm in 5th grade, and I attend Kelso Elementary, and I'm in 5th grade.
My name is Ian Tibble Carter. I attend Palms Middle School. I'm in 7th grade. My favorite subject is math.
My name's Evan Tibble Carter. My favorite subject, I don't really have one, and I'm going to 9th grade at Hamilton High School.
Okay, and again, of course, Evan was in the class about a year or so ago, right, Evan? So Evan is my executive assistant for this particular session. He's gone through the whole program, so he's going to be assisting me, because I know Evan knows all of the answers, right, Evan? All right. Okay, now we're going to first just go with just a few terminology, then we're going to have lunch. But last week we talked about some important terms, and one of them, I have some of them written here on this board here, paper rather than, but these are important financial terms. We talked about a budget. Anyone remember what a budget is? Yes.
A bond?
Yeah, budget is, yes.
Financial plan.
Excellent. A budget is a financial plan. You remember, you want to have a budget, you know, with regards to your finances, so you know which direction you're headed. Also, we talked about interest, and anyone remember how we define interest? Remember, we said interest is the cost of borrowing money. Okay, and there's several kinds of interest, but primarily we're focused on simple interest, and also there's compound interest, and you had an exercise that explained those different kinds of interest. Then we talked about a deficit, and we talked about a surplus, and we had an exercise that we worked on, remember, a budget exercise, and you had so much revenue, you had so much expenses, and if your expenses exceeded your revenues, that would result in what? Yes? Debt, absolutely. So that would be a deficit. And of course, if the reverse was true, that would be a surplus. And then another term that we talked about was inflation. Remember the lady who invested the $18,000 at age, I think, 72 or something, and 10 years later, the money had escalated to $46 billion as a result of the interest. You see, the interest started at roughly 45%, and it escalated to 149%. And it had actually grown to $46 billion. This was, of course, in Mexico. And so those are some of the terms that we talked about. And then we talked about a very important term, which is the Rule of 72, that we're going to get into more today. Anyone remember what the Rule of 72 is? Remember yes?
How long it takes your money to double?
Absolutely. How long it takes your money to double depending on the interest rate that the money is generating. So what we're going to do now, we're going to say the blessing, and then we're going to have lunch, and then we're going to get into our program. And today the mayor is going to come and speak to us briefly, and then we're going to have one of the city council people come and speak to us briefly, and then we're going to go we're going to visit the sound installation department. So you can see how that works, and that's a program where actually folks that live into certain areas of the city where the airplanes fly rather frequently, they get a certain amount of, they get certain modifications to their homes, and anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. And we're going to be visiting that department so you can see how that works today. So we're going to now bless the food, and then we're going to have lunch, and then we're going to get into the program. Okay. And by the way, this is Mr. Marco Tan. He's my administrative assistant, and he has been, of course, very helpful to the program. Thanks, Marco.
You're welcome. Enjoy the food.
All right. Okay, let's just bow our heads now. Father, again, I thank you for those that you have sent to be in the program today, and I thank you for them, Father. And also, we're about to have lunch, and I ask you to bless this food so that it will nourish our bodies. In the name of Jesus, I pray, amen. Amen. All right. Okay, we have pizza. Specifically for pepperoni on the top, which we didn't do. Okay, so why don't we just kind of line up. Pepperoni pizza. It's pepperoni, chicken, and sausage. And I know someone said they don't like olives, so we didn't get olives this time. Okay. All right. So wait a minute. Let me get a little bigger place here. Why don't we?
Hello, Dr. Brown.
Hello, Mayor.
How you guys?
Hi. For everyone, this is the mayor of our city. This is Mayor James Butts, and he's the mayor of the city, and he is going to give you a bit of background about what his responsibilities are and something about his background. Thank you for coming.
You're very welcome. And I really appreciate Dr. Brown for putting this together for you so that you get an inside look at how your municipal government works, because one day you guys will grow up and not only will you be doing work in the private sector, some of you will be municipal employees and some of you might run for elected office. Now, who in here can tell me how many people are on the council here in Inglewood? Okay, so I know where to start. Okay, there's 4 council members at large, districts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the city's broken up into 4 geographic districts. And there's 1 mayor. Now, each of those council people are elected by the people in their separate districts, and they have the expectation that councilman or councilwoman is going to be responsive to the issues that they feel are important to their individual districts. The mayor, however, is elected by the city at large and is expected to focus on the global issues that affect everyone in the city. Now, in Inglewood, we're under a council manager form of government. And what that means is there's a city council that sets policy, direction for the city, and a city manager. I think you met with the city manager already. Is that right?
Yes, last week.
The city manager. And the city manager executes that policy, and he supervises all the staff that work for the city. The mayor, by virtue of the fact that he represents the city at large, tends to have a little bit more say in the day-to-day operation of the city because you are elected at large. By the charter, you're the chief executive officer of the city. You sign all contracts for the city. You represent the city at Washington, D.C. when we see grants. Like, for instance, I'm going back to Washington October 3rd to the 6th to see if we can get some transportation money so that we can help rehabilitate Century Boulevard. That's a $33 million project between La Cienega and Van Ness. We want to repave it, and not only do we have to repave it, because the surface bed has degraded, it has to be dug up in its entirety and totally redone. And at that time, we're going to put in new medians, some new sidewalks, and do some signal changes. So that's a $33 million project, of which we only have $15 million available. And so I'm going to Washington to meet with our congressional representatives to see if we can be allocated transportation money to finish that project. Another thing that the mayor does is when big developers or big business entities come to the city and they want to start to negotiate to do projects here, well, they're not going to negotiate with 5 different council members. They look to the mayor. And so, you know, I've been involved in negotiations with a couple, you know, large entities. One of those is Madison Square Garden. They're interested in buying the Forum, doing a renovation of it so that we can have concerts here again. The main function of a city council is to make sure that we ensure the economic prosperity, the health and safety, and the urban renewal, meaning that we make sure that our infrastructure is renewed, streets are paved, trees are trimmed, and that when areas run down, that we renew them so they become new and vibrant. And you do that because you're the policymakers. And so the only requirements to be elected to office actually are that you're age 21, live in the city, and never convicted of a felony. And that causes you to end up with a wide variety of people with different backgrounds and interests that end up running for office. Isn't that right, Wanda?
Absolutely.
And so in my case, I had never run for elected office. My service had been in civil service. I started off as a policeman here in the city of Inglewood. I was a police cadet at the age of 19. I became a policeman at 21. And I served the city of Inglewood for about 19 years in total in the police department. I left here as a deputy chief of police. I was hired by the city of Santa Monica in 1991 to be the police chief. I was police chief there for 15 years. Now, because of the experience in police department running different departments, I had one view of elected officials and the impact that they have on the work that you do. I left the city of Santa Monica in 2006 and I became a deputy executive director at the Los Angeles World Airport System. And I was in charge of counterterrorism and public safety there. So when I came to run for office, this was entirely new to me. And I learned that even though you can have a background, people look for name recognition and the support of other elected officials as the primary barometer as to how they're going to vote. So I ended up running in 3 elections over 14 months. And the only election that I won actually was the last one. I came in second in every one I ran in before that. And the last one was for the 4-year term for mayor. And that's how I became mayor. But now that I'm elected, my background in working and running large organizations, you know, the last organization I ran actually had a larger budget and more employees than the city of Inglewood. And so having worked here also for 19 years, I have some experience from the ground up at how the city works and operates. So that's allowed me to be, I think, more effective immediately as an elected official than most could be. And so what we're trying to do right now is stabilize our finances. You know, there's a nationwide recession that's affected a lot of cities, and balancing budgets is very difficult these days, but we're doing some things that are going to allow us to have a balanced budget this next year, I believe, without laying off a single employee, and that's really a godsend because, you know, people depend on their employment to feed their families and pay for their housing. But concurrent with that, we're working on making the city more attractive by renewing the streets, trying to attract major development, entertainment, and retail to the city to further broaden our tax base and help our finances. And it's my belief in the next 2 to 3 years we're going to see a big turnaround in our city. Now, do you guys have any questions for me? Well, don't be afraid. Well, either that or I explain things so well.
Yeah, you did such a good job.
Right.
Because last week, you know, they all went to the city council chambers, and one person was mayor. Now, who was mayor? Okay, you were mayor, and then we had a person representing District 1. Who represented District 1? One of you was District 1. Okay, who was represented District 2? I think you were District 2. Who was representing District 3? You were District 3, and then District 4. Who was the city attorney? Okay, you were the city attorney, and then we had one that was actually the city manager. You were the city manager, and who was the city treasurer? Yeah, the city treasurer because they did the best job, but you know. But basically, they got a chance to see how it all worked, and I was the public, so I was, complaining about this and complaining about that. So they got a chance to see how actually our council meetings actually are run. Well, Mayor, I certainly want to thank you for coming and explaining, what your position is and giving the kids a good overview of what city government is all about.
And I want to thank you once again for doing this for both the community and these young people. And there's a question.
Is there a mayor per state or is it per city? Like, is there one big mayor?
Well, actually, there's mayor. Most cities have a mayor. Now, counties usually have a board of supervisors, and there's usually anywhere from 3 to 5 supervisors, and they don't have a mayor of the county. But there are 44 incorporated cities in the city of Los Angeles, and all those cities have mayors. So in the county of Los Angeles, I'm one of 44.
So you report back to, do you report back to the governor of the state?
Well, actually, in a municipality, the person highest on the organizational chart is the mayor. Now, your sphere of influence is within that city. Now, the governor's sphere of influence is the entire state, in California, state of California. But does that mean that he directs the mayors? No, they're separate political and municipal, separate governmental entities. Like the governor doesn't decide what our budget is, but he can impact it by the amount of money the state makes available to come back to the cities that go to the state through taxes and federal pass-through. So the governor can have impact on your finances, but not directly.
Oh, I have another question.
Sure.
Is there a time where you have to come with other other mayors from other cities and communicate on a sense of...
There's a U.S. Conference of Mayors that occurs every year, and then that's an excellent question. And there's several regional types of forums where mayors may get together and talk about various topics of mutual interest.
Thank you.
All right. Sir? Oh, you weren't asking. All right, thank you guys. It was really good talking to you.
Okay, again, thank you. This is the mayor. Okay, now I understand last week a couple of people couldn't make it because it was one of them's birthday. I think it was Kennedy's birthday. So, Kennedy, your birthday was August the 25th. So I think I'd like us all to sing happy birthday to Kennedy. Okay, on the cue. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kennedy. Happy birthday to you.
All right. So you were how old this time, Kennedy?
13.
13. All right. Well, did you have a good time? What did you do?
Well, family came over and we had cake and ice cream.
All right. Okay. What kind of ice cream did you have?
I don't know. I didn't eat the ice cream.
You didn't eat ice cream? No. You didn't eat much pizza. You don't like pizza?
Lactose intolerant.
What's that again?
I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to have to order something special for you. I think one likes just cheese. Who likes only cheese? One of the cheese pizza. You like cheese too? Who else likes cheese, just cheese only? Yeah. Okay, we got enough. Okay, we're going to order cheese pizza. What do you suggest next time? What sort of things would you like on your pizza? What do you want, Kennedy? Maybe
I don't eat pizza, so.
You eat what?
I don't eat pizza. So.
You don't eat, but what would you like?
It doesn't matter.
Do you like salad?
Yeah, you can bring salad.
Okay. We'll have a salad for you. That's really healthy to eat anyway. So we'll have a cheese only pizza, and also we won't have sausages on it because a few folks didn't like sausages. You don't like pepperoni either? No. Oh my goodness. We're not gonna have a pizza in a minute. No pepperoni, no sausage.
How about a vegetable?
A vegetable pizza. How many would like a vegetable pizza?
I'm vegetarian.
You're a vegetarian?
No, my mom is. So she buys food and I eat it.
Oh, okay. But how many would like a vegetable pizza with vegetables only on it? Just 2 people? Okay, well, we'll work something out. I know one thing, we will have an all cheese pizza, that's for sure. Okay. And then we'll have a salad or something. Okay, now last week, you took home, you had a homework, you took home a personal budget, right? So you started out with, I want you to take that out. You started out with personal expenses of $75,000. That was your income. And then we had a certain amount of expenses. How many still have that so that you can follow along with me? Okay. So, now once we put in all of our expenses here, and we had rent, and that was what, $30,000? And we had food, and that worked out to be what, $9,600. And we had the auto, right? The auto cost us what? $6,000. And we had clothing. $2,400. And then we had insurance. Who don't have a copy of this? That wasn't here. Okay. What's your pass these? Those who don't have. Let's say we had clothing of $2,400, and we had insurance $2,000, and we had telephone and utilities for what? $1,800, and we had credit card debt of $1,600. And then we had what? Household supplies, $3,600, and we had taxes. Got to pay taxes of $3,000. And now once I added all of that up, you know, what did you come up with for those who did this assignment?
$60,600.
What was that again?
$60,600.
Was it $60,600?
I got 60,000.
You got 60,000?
Yeah,
You get 60,000?
I got 60,000.
You got 60,000? You didn't do it? You didn't do the assignment? Okay, well next time, okay. Did you get a chance to do the assignment?
We just got it.
Okay. No, I'm speaking to the young lady in blue. Okay. You just now getting this now? Okay. And until I learn your names, just say your names when I'm kind of pointing. Okay, so actually the total expenses were $60,000. And once we subtracted the 60,000 from the 75, we had what? Did we have a deficit? Did we have a surplus?
Surplus.
We had a surplus of 15,000. So that meant we did what? We lived within our means. We didn't spend more than what we earned, and that's what you want to keep in mind when you go on and finish school and go on to college and get your job. You want to live within your means, and what you want to do also is save something for yourself each and every payday. You know, some go to church, some pay the 10% tithe to the church, where you also want to pay yourself also so that you're saving something. I see a lot of young people, they buy their fancy cars and they put these spinning wheels on them, you know, and some of these spinning wheels, you know, they're up to $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000. If you put that money in something like investment, like in a mutual fund, which is, could be like a basket of stocks, that will grow. But if you put it on your car and you're just driving around, trying to impress folks, you're not really achieving very much, So you want to keep in mind, you want to invest as much of your funds as you can. You see, you want to save each and every single pay period. Put something in the bank, or put something in your investments. And if you do that on like a consistent basis, invest in yourself. See, by the time you're about 45 years old, you would literally be able to retire. And that might sound like a long time away, for you now. But believe me, it's not that far away at all. And a lot of folks who don't plan, you see, which is why they're having to work, in their 60s and their 70s. And you see a lot of folks, that are working perhaps like at Walmart, they're not there because they like people. They're there because they have to do what? They need the money and they're trying to supplement their income. So keep in mind, you want to plan your future. You see, you want to live within your means. You want to, always live, within your budget, within whatever funds that you're able to generate. Like if you're earning $75,000 a year, you don't want to live like you're earning $150,000. And people are able to do that by using credit card debt. You see, credit card debt allow you to live beyond your means. And keep in mind, I gave a little example of myself last week. I seldom use mine, but when I do, I'll just use them once in a while just to keep them active. So I put $300 on one of them, and then my little notice when I got my statement says, well, you only have to pay, $10. And if you pay $10 every month, which is the minimum amount of money, I will end up taking how long? I said 2 years to pay off that little $300, you see. But see, on a large scale, people put thousands of dollars, you see, on these credit cards, so you're paying back substantially more than what you ever loaned. For example, a little $3,000 loan, where the $3,000 you might put on a credit card may take you up to 12 years to pay off, and you will have paid back possibly upwards to $14,000 or more, depending if you only send in the minimal payment. Because you'll get this statement from the bank says you only have to send in the minimum payment, but now the bank has to disclose what you will be paying back if you only pay the minimum payment. They want you to pay only the minimum payment. The same thing applies to when you get your own home. If you're able to send in a little bit more than what your monthly mortgage payment is, you'll pay the house off, years ahead of time. But if you only send in only the mortgage payment, you will have paid for that house about 3 times over. So if that house costs, say, $400,000, you would have paid $1.2 million over a period of, say, a 30-year fixed mortgage. Okay, so keep in mind, the important thing is to save and to live within your means. Now let's look at your income for the next year. Perhaps next year things happen. Maybe you lost your job, blah, blah, blah. You don't know what happened. But anyhow, we're just earning $50,000 this year. But we got the same expenses. They didn't go down, you see. So we have our mortgage, that's all the same. Once you add it all up, you got $60,000. Now this time what happened?
Deficit of $10,000.
That's right, you had a deficit of $10,000 because, again, see, what you needed to do, you needed to make some sort of adjustments, you see, with regards to you gotta eat, so we still gotta, have food, but you might look at some things like clothing. Maybe you didn't need to buy $2,400 worth of clothing, you see, or maybe, the credit card, you see, that's something that you need to make some sort of adjustments to. And perhaps household supplies, is something you could have made some sort of adjustment to. And between if it's your rent or if it's an apartment that you're renting, you might want to look to get something a little cheaper. But if it's your home, of course, you got to maintain that, you see. But you got to look where you can make adjustments, because sometimes folks have like cable TV. Cable TV is expensive, and it could run up to 100. Because I like the NFL tickets, so mine runs about $175 a month until those 6 payments are paid, or if you pay it all at once. But cable TV can run you up to maybe $125 a month, depending on what you like to look at. I love sports, so I have lots of sports on my cable TV. So this is kind of a good example of one to show you how you really need to live within your means. Okay. All right. Now what we're gonna go over next is that we talked about this rule of 72. So I had an example prepared, which gives a very good example of how long it takes money to double. And if you can pass those out, if you can maybe pass these out on that side, just pass them down. Again, this is the rule of 72, and basically what the lesson that you should be getting from this, as I have at the bottom here, you can determine what kind of savings plan works best for you and your budget by using the rule of 72. And what you do is just simply divide the interest rate into 72. So let's take a look to see how money grows depending on the amount of interest. Now let's assume that you're all 18 years old and you're starting out with $10,000 to invest. We went over this last week, but this is, I think, explained a lot clearer. You can see at age 18, if it's only earning 2%, now 2% goes into 72 how many times? 36 times. So it's going to take it 36 years to double. if the funds is only generating 2%. So you can see by the time you're 54, that money would have just grown to, you know, 20,000, but you're 54 years old now. In 36 more years, you're now 90. And you're just generating $40,000 at $10,000. It has just doubled just 3 times. Okay. Now let's look at age. Let's look at if it's generating 4%. See, at 4%, you're 18. Now you have $10,000. Now, you 18 years later, you're 36. You have 20,000. 18 years later, you're 54. You have 40,000. Remember, at 2%, you were 90 until, you know, you're age 90 until you generated the 40,000. Then at age 72, you have $80,000. That's only if the funds are generating 4% interest. Okay? Now let's assume that the money is generating 8% interest. At 8%, it's going to take it 9 years to double. Okay? So if you're 18 years old now, 9 years later, you're only 27 at $20,000. Whereas at 2%, you were 54 and you were 36. Yes?
The 2%, 4%, 8%, and 12% are the interest rates?
Yeah, those are the interest rates.
Just a clarification.
Yeah, the 2% is those are the interest rates that the money is generating. Okay? Because it's kind of difficult to get 8% these days. But in order to get a high rate of interest, you generally got to take more risk, you see. But see, and you folks will be young enough to be able to take more risk. See, when because you will have graduated from college at approximately the age of probably around about 22. And you will be working in all likelihood in some sort of capacity, perhaps for the next 40 years, you see. So you'll be young enough to take a little bit of risk, you see, for perhaps 20 of those years. But you want to be careful in the kind of risk that you do take. But take a look now at the 8%. So you have $20,000, you're 27 years old. 9 years later, you're just 36 and you have the 40,000. Whereas when it was generating on 4%, you were 54, you see, at 40,000. And when it was only generating 2%, you were 90 years old, you see. Okay, so you can see the difference there. So then 9 years later, you're now 45 and it's 80,000. 9 years later, you're 54 and you have $160,000. Whereas at 54, at 4%, you had 40,000, and at 54, at 2%, you only had 20,000. So 9 years later, you're now 63, you got $320,000. The money is now doubled, you see. And now 9 years later, you're 72, and you have $640,000 at 8%. You see the significance, you see, of interest? You know, you can kind of relate back to the lady with the $18,000 she invested in Mexico. The rates then, of course, was 45%, which is outrageous, but, you know, they had tremendous inflation there. And so at 72, you have $640,000. Now, assuming that you can possibly earn 12%, at 18, again, 10,000. Now you're only 24 and you got 20,000 instead of 36 and 27 and 54. And at 30, you have 40,000 instead of being at 36, 54, and 90. And then at 36, you have 80,000. 42, you have $160,000. And 48, you have $320,000. At 54, 640,000. At 54, instead of 160 at 8%, and of course you didn't get nowhere near that at 4% and 2%. And at age 60, you have $1.3 million. At 60, you see. And a lot of people are still working, you see, at age 60. Some of them are going into different careers, but that money has now doubled to $1.3 million. And 6 years later, that money has grown to $2.6 million at 12%. So you can see interest has a very significant impact, you see, on how money grows and how money doubles. The interest rate is very, 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 very important here. And also keep in mind, as you invest, you see, your funds, you want to invest, you know, you want to diversify your investments. You might want to put some in real estate, you might want to put some in, you know, in CDs, you might want to put some in bonds, see, you might want to put some in the metals market, like silver or gold. There's all different kinds of investments, vehicle that you can put the money in. But you want to be somewhat diversified. You don't want to put all of your money, as is said, you know, in one place. So, because if you put it all in one place and things don't go too well, that means you do what? You've lost it all. So that's very important that you want to diversify. And what does the word diversify means? Yes.
Like put your money into different things.
Absolutely, you're spreading it around. You know, you're not putting it all in one basket. You see, so you're spreading your money around, and you want to invest in yourself. You know, particularly when you're young, instead of, you know, again, invested in things. You know, like again, spinning wheels on a car. You know, or $150 tennis shoes. You know, or designer this or designer that. You see. You don't want to put all of your investment on your back, you see, or in your car, you see, or in things that you own. You want to, you know, invest in yourself, you see. So that's really important. So so when you get that first job, you know, what are you going to do? You're going to do what with it? That first check you get. Say you've gotten your job now, and you're you know, say you're earning. We'll say that you're earning by the time you guys are working, and you're going to have a really decent job. We'll assume that you're going to be earning about, we'll say, $80,000 starting out. Your first job, your first check. What are you going to do with some of the money? Where are you going to put some of that money?
Invest in myself.
Say your name though.
Tiffany. I'm investing in Tiffany.
But where are you going to put it, Tiffany, and specifically, where are you going to put the money?
In different, and I'm going to put in diverse stocks and stuff like that.
Okay, in the bank. What are you going to say your name?
Regina.
Regina. You're not get your designer shoes and designer purse and you know, what are you going to do with yours, Regina?
I'm going to save it.
You're going to save?
I'm going to save half of it, and then the rest can go to my needs.
You're going to save half?
Yes.
You won't be able to save half.
Okay. I'm going to save probably like, about, how much I make again?
Let's see, well, we'll assume that you're making $80,000 a year, and let's assume that you're making maybe, you know, maybe upwards to...
So I total up my expenses.
There you go.
Then whatever money I have left over, then I'm going to choose how I'm going to save it.
That's right. You're going to look and see how much rent, you know, your rent is going to be so much. Of course, you're going to buy some clothes. You're not going to walk around, you know, and you know, in grab bag type clothes. You know, you want to look fairly nice going to work, you know. But you know, but don't focus on so much on this on these designer clothes and designer this and designer that, because you know they're very expensive and it's just somebody's name. You know, put your own name on it. You maybe want to get your own clothes or something, your own name brand. Get your own, you know, something like that. You don't want to put someone else, you know, advertise someone else's name. Doesn't make much sense to me. What are you going to do with some of yours? Say your name.
Galilea.
Say your name once more.
Galilea.
What's your last name?
Sanchez. You can call me Galilee.
Galilee? Okay.
I was going to do the same thing as Virginia.
You're going to do what?
The same thing as Virginia.
Okay. All right. The next person.
I'm Avery. I'm going to take my mom on vacation. And then I'm going to put the rest of my money, well, not all of it, but some of it into Apple product stocks. And then the rest I'm just going to put in my bank account.
Okay. You're going to do it on a consistent basis. Great. Next person.
My name's Imani, and I'm gonna take the money and I'm gonna put it in stocks, and I'm gonna invest in probably like a sports team, you know, for the World Cup, things like that.
Okay, good. All right.
My name's Naima, and if I haven't started grad school, I'll probably put some of it towards grad school.
Okay. And also, want to keep in mind for those who are going to be going on to college, also we give you some very useful college information. Matter of fact, I heard a very good radio program when I was coming from Palm Springs a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to share that information with you, where they give you some good heads-up information on how to get scholarships. Okay, the next person, my birthday young lady here.
My name's Katie, and I'll add up all my expenses and put that away, and then the extra money I'll put in the bank.
Oh, okay. Gonna put some of it in the bank. Okay.
My name is Kimberly, and I'll probably invest in like bonds.
Invest in some bonds. Okay. Long-term or short-term bonds?
Long term.
That's right, because you're young, you see, so you can afford the market going up and down, you see.
My name is Destiny, and I'll go to church and pay my tithe.
I'm sorry, what's that again?
My name is Destiny. I'll go to church and pay my tithe.
Yeah, we talked about that.
And then I'll put the rest in the bank.
Well, you got to pay your rent now. Don't forget about your rent.
I'll pay my rent.
Mm-hmm. You got to get food to eat.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta buy some clothes.
I'll go to the mall.
Are you gonna get it to the mall? Okay. And then what's left over after you've looked at all of your expenses, you know, then you're gonna, and then?
I'll go to
okay. All right, okay, all right. Next person, what are these, let's see what these men are gonna do with their money. Okay, next person.
My name is Ryan, and I'll put like 12,000 in the bank.
12,000 in the bank. Now keep in mind, are you speaking of for the whole year then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna manage your money in such a way so that that's your goal out of your $80,000 is to save 12,000. Somehow you're gonna scrimp and save until you get that 12 grand in the bank, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hi, my name is Anthony.
Say your name once more.
Anthony.
Okay.
And I'm towards my money to charity.
You gonna give all your money to charity? No, so what did you say you're gonna do with it then?
I'm gonna give part of my money.
Part to charity? Well, you're a very giving person, okay, and then you're gonna.
Then I'm gonna put 12,000 in the bank.
I think somebody's not gonna get paid here if you're gonna be giving. You gotta keep in mind now. You wanna develop that budget. Now you gotta pay your rent. You gotta have food, and because you're gonna give so much to charity, which is good, and then you're gonna put the rest in the bank. That's good. Okay.
My name is Ian. I would first cover my expenses and all the other stuff I have to do, like pay rent, buy food, and different things. Then I'd save some money for myself.
Okay, all right. At least everybody said the key word, that is to save. Actually save, because and let's go with, what are you going to do, Evan?
Cover my expenses and save.
Okay, all right. Because very few people have very, very little saved these days. Are you aware that most people are living from paycheck to paycheck? You know what that means? What's that again?
Spending it all.
That's right. They're literally spending it all. Some are driving cars they cannot afford to drive. Some are living in places they cannot afford to live. Others are eating out every day or every too often, and they really can't afford that. And many of them are just basically living, you know, beyond their means, and they're able to do this because they are using, for the most part, credit. Credit. They're using a credit card. The credit card, again, will allow you to temporarily live beyond your means. So keep in mind, when you guys are in college, they're gonna mail you credit cards. You're gonna start getting credit cards. Yes, you know, and well, the thing is, you know, there's nothing wrong with using them, but you don't want to misuse them. But when you're in college, you will get credit cards and an opportunity to get credit cards. You know, they may have a $1,000 limit, or maybe a $1,500 limit, or maybe a $2,000 limit. Yes.
Yeah, I remember I was talking about my mom about this. So I was like, if people are always in debt, the credit cards tell them to be in debt. And I'm like, I'm just not going to use credit cards when I get older. She was telling me that you have to use credit cards because you need like good credit to like buy cars and houses and stuff. I'm like, I don't understand the point of that. Like if you don't want to use a credit card, then like you're basically being forced to use a credit card.
That's true, but see, what you're not forced to do is to overuse them. You're not, you know, as I mentioned, I have several, but they're practically all free, you know, very little on, none of them. So I use them only when I have to. Like when you go out of town, you have to have a credit card in order to get the room. Without a credit card, you will not be able to get a room. Or if you have all cash, sometimes they will accept it. But they like a credit card in case you damage the room, so that they can put that expense also on your credit card, you see. So yeah, you do need credit cards, but my point is not to overuse them. You see, they're good to have, but not simply to you know, to overuse them or to max them out. Say you have a credit card with a $7,000 limit or a $10,000 limit. You know, you don't want to just max it out to the $7,000 limit, because then you know you've got to pay this back. You see, and if you don't pay it back, you know, within a very short period of time, you will be really paying an awful lot of money in what we've been talking about. Interest. And the interest on the credit card, as I mentioned, the $300 that I put on mine is 22.9%. And the banks are only paying less than 1% interest on your savings account. But if you use that credit card, you will be paying back interest to the tune of 20% and above, depending on what company, you know, that you have that credit card with. Yes.
So your best advice is to only get a credit card if you can back it up?
No, there's nothing wrong with having credit cards, but don't misuse them. Don't max them out. So again, as I mentioned, when you get your first job, so you'll have credit cards, and your credit cards, say American Express, it may be American Express. I like American Express because you put it in, I got to pay back the next month. But say it's just a regular MasterCharge card, and you know, you may need to put something on it for 1 month, say 500 or 600 or whatever, but don't put more on it than you can afford to pay back, say within at least a 3-month period. If you see that you cannot pay this money back, you see, within, I say, at least a 3 to 6 month period, it may not be a good idea for you to continue to put things on your credit card, you see. So they're good to have, and you're going to need them, you know, if you're going to travel, like you want to perhaps, you know, fly across country or go on trips. So you do need credit. Credit is good. Good credit is needed. And when you have good credit, you see, you know, your credit is tracked through these agencies called FICA or Advantage Score, and that will determine, you know, once you decide you want to go and get a car, whether or not, you know, how much interest they're going to charge you. If your credit card rate is very, very bad, you see, and you apply to you're going to get a car, they say, well, you know, a very good risk, because it appears that you don't pay your bills on time. You're late, you see, every other month, and so that makes you to be a poor risk, you see. So what you want to have is, nothing wrong with having credit cards, but you want to have a good credit rating, you see. So you want to, as you put things on your credit card, you want to be able to, you know, to pay on it the next month or pay it off. But you certainly want to be able to pay it off, hopefully within about 6 months. If it means some sort of emergency may come up, you say, well, I know I can't pay it back within, you know, the first 3 months, but I know I can pay it back within 6 months. Then you're okay. But you don't want to put more on it than you can afford to pay back. That's the point that I'm trying to get over. Okay, are there any other questions regarding credit? Okay. Well, we have a tour coming up, and we're going to view the sound installation department. There's going to be a presentation there. It's on the 5th floor. So we're going to head up there and for that presentation, because they're expecting us in about 5 minutes.
How are you? My name is Betty Griffith, and I'm the coordinator for outreach for this department, sound installation department. I would have had you in there to show you a little PowerPoint presentation and to show you what we do and how we do it. But this is our display room, and in a nutshell, let me just give you a quick overview what we do. Anybody that lives in Inglewood that's under the flight path of LAX, we soundproof their homes. Soundproofing their homes.
Any of you live in the flight path? Any of you had your homes done?
You have? Who has? Have you had your homes done?
You've had your house done?
You're enjoying not hearing those planes, right? So when you close your door, you don't hear the planes. Did you get the heating and air condition?
Get the heating and air condition?
Yeah.
All right.
So they can kind of tell you how really relief that is to not have to hear the planes, and you can study better, because when the planes are flying over, you have to turn your TV up or get off the phone or say, wait just a minute. You just can't hear. So our goal is to go in and make sure that we soundproof the home so you do not hear that noise. So in a nutshell, that's what we do for the people in the city of Inglewood that's under the flight path that are eligible. And we go through a process. These are the windows that they get to come and select from, and they're excellent windows. Once we take out your old windows and put those in, you won't hear the planes. And the doors, the same thing. So in a nutshell, that's what we do. And we have a whole team of people that are here to assist that process goes through very smoothly. We have engineers on staff. We have a construction management team. You have my staff that's outreach that makes sure that the people that come in are eligible. They have to sign, they have to have their signature notarized. So there's a process that happens. The thing I want you to really know is that city government and City of Inglewood is so diverse. So as you're going through your career paths, know that there's other things. I mean, who would have thought that at City Hall you'd have a department that's doing sound insulation, which includes construction and includes engineering. So there's a lot of different career paths that you can take and yet still work for the city. So
can you tell them just briefly where the money comes from?
Yeah, the money sources. Oh, the good thing is if you're in the flight path and you are going to have your home insulated, you don't have to pay. It's a grant-funded program. We get our money from FAA and we get our money from the airport, LAWA. So, and also, when we do these homes, even though it's about, on the average, about $40,000 worth of materials that we're putting in your home, and that's $40,000 more improvements in your home, you don't have to have your home reassessed and have that value go up so that you're paying taxes now on $40,000 more. So your tax base stayed the same before we got there, it will remain the same. So you're getting like $40,000 worth of work as a grant. You don't have to pay for it, it's free. Okay? Any questions quickly? I'm in a meeting, that's why I have to go back. Do you guys kind of understand what I'm talking about? Yes. Okay, these windows, take a chance. I want you to look at how these windows are. They're double pane. You see how this one open and this one open? And there's a screen there. So if I close this, I close this. On the other side, I can open it from either side. And it's a screen on either side.
Hi.
Is that nice?
Yes.
If you come over to this window, some windows have to be hung this way. So if I open this window like this, and then there's another one here, there's a screen, okay? And it locks the sash. But I can also open this window from up here and here, and there's a screen. So isn't that a unique window?
Yes.
Very nice window. Same with our, if you had a fireplace, we would, anywhere air gets in, we would have to make sure we put our own fireplace door in there so that you wouldn't have that. If air gets in, noise is getting in. So we would change that. If you have a home where you have a cut in the door where the mail comes in, how many have a home like that? Okay. We would take that door off. We're going to put in our own door, but it's not going to have a hole in it because what did I say about, what did I just say?
If air can get in.
Okay, so that means we're going to give you a mailbox. We're not going to cut our door. We don't want any air to come into your home because noise will travel in. Sometimes people have a really nice, pretty door and they don't want to get rid of it. So we tell them, keep your door. We will give you what we call a storm door. That old door you can keep, but we're going to add this door to it. And now noise is not going to come in because this door is going to prevent it. Now the only thing about this door is glass, so there's no ventilation. Sometimes people have a screen door that's like a security door. And I encourage them to keep those doors and get rid of that other door and let us give you a solid core door, because sometimes you want to have, for security purpose, you want to have that door. This is not a security door because there's no, and it's not a security door, it's a storm door. It's usually a lot back east, but we have it here. Hand up, yes.
So you were talking about the mailboxes. I have one that's not attached to my door, but it's attached to my house.
Does it come inside your house?
Yeah.
Is it still there? Did we do your home? And we left it? I need to get your address and look at that. Because it should not, we should not have, if we did, something's not, you're not.
It's attached to the house.
Is it like this, where we did this? We put this on it?
No.
Is it inside, it's a cut in the door?
It's a cut in the house.
A cut in the house, so it's not in the door at all?
No.
Oh, we wouldn't touch that. We're only talking about, we only do exterior doors and windows. If you have something with your house, we don't touch your house. Okay. Any other questions? Now let me ask you a question. Where does the funding come from? I told you.
FAA and the airport.
Okay. I didn't tell you this, but what do you think is the weakest part of your house?
Ceiling.
Roof.
The what?
Ceiling.
No. When trucks go by your house, what happens?
The walls. The wall.
Who said windows? Okay, you're getting a gift from me, okay? All right. The windows are the weakest part of the house because if a big heavy truck goes by, it shatters, right? That's the window is your weakest part of the house. So we take those windows out and give you double hung windows like either one of the ones that I showed you here. We also put insulation up in your attic because we want to make sure that there's no noise coming in. Yes?
So also I have an attic and it opens. So
they went up into the attic. Okay. Did they had to put some insulation in there? You may not have been home when we did that. Yeah, we had to put insulation in. Yeah. Let's see. I didn't tell you this, but let me give you some more information. When we come out to do your home, it takes us like 10 days to do your house. And you have to be home. You have to be 18 years or older for us to be in your home because we don't want kids there, right? So we have to have an adult on staff there when we come out. It should take us, like I said, 10 days to do your house. So it's a pretty fast program, but when we come, we leave the house every day so it's habitable, so that when we leave, you can still eat, sleep, and do what you have to do. It's not like you have to leave and go get in a hotel or anything, because remember, we're only doing your windows and doors, so the rest of your house we don't disturb. The other thing that you might, and I'm hoping you take this information back to your parents, if we come in and let's say this is the window that we're going to do, and let's say right under here it's dry rotted, we got termite damage, we can't put these heavy windows. You have to know how many windows did I open up over there back and forth. About 2 big heavy windows. So if this is weak right here because of dry rot or termite damage, we've got to take all this out and repair this and put a new frame in so it will support these heavy windows. That's also part of the program. There's no charge. If we find asbestos, does anyone know what that's all about? Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I don't want to get too much into this. But anyway, if we find that we have to bring a hazmat team out because they found asbestos or anything like that, that's part of the program. We would take care of that. Yes?
So like this one says 1 year warranty, so what happens after a year, and it's messed up or something? They have to pay for it themselves?
No, what happens, she's asking about this, says a 1 year warranty on this glass door. The 1 year warranty is from the contractor that put it in. There's actually a 5 or 10 year warranty from the manufacturer. So after 5 or 10 years, depending on, you have to read your warranty book, you have some ability to go back to the manufacturer. But if something happens initially in the first year on anything that we put in, you go directly back to that contractor that did it. And we have a contract warranty book. They will take care of it. They stand behind it, and they're very good in standing behind their work. But there is a different warranty.
So the 1 year is just for the contractor?
Just for the contractor.
So after that, you would just get another contractor or something?
No, after that, you go to the manufacturer who actually made this window, and they will take care of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Questions? Anything else? I usually go around and ask people their names and what school, so I'm going to do that now. Your name? I want your age in school.
11 and Lennox Middle School.
Okay.
My name's Kennedy. I'm 13 and I go to View Park Middle.
Oh, very good.
My name's Naima. I'm 16 and I go to View Park High School.
Very good.
My name is Destiny and I'm 14 and I go to City Honors High School.
City Honors, okay.
My name is Regina. I'm 15 and I go to Morningside High School.
Morningside.
My name is Tiffany. I'm 15 and I go to City Honors High School.
Very good.
My name is Anthony. I'm 10 and I go to Kelso Elementary.
Okay. My name is Ian. I am 12 years old and I go to Palms Middle School. Palms Middle School.
Okay. Ian?
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, my name is Kimberly. I'm 15 years old and I go to Laces High School.
You go to where?
Laces.
Laces. Okay.
My name is Avery. I'm 15 and I go to Pacifica Christian High School.
Very good.
My name's Imani. I'm 15 and I go to Culver City High School.
Very good. Okay.
My name's Evan. I'm 14 and I go to Hamilton High School.
Hamilton? Very good. I know where Hamilton. Okay, great.
My name is Ryan. I'm in the 6th grade and I go to Frank D. Parent Elementary.
And how old are you, Ryan?
11.
All right, Ryan. Well, you know what I like about this group? You guys are all of different ages and all come from different schools. So the diversity here is excellent. That means when you're in your class, you learn from each other because that's what how the world goes around, from variety and diversity. And so I'm great to see this type of group that you've assembled today. This is really, really a good cross. This is wonderful. And the ones that are older, City Honors, Morningside, Lacey's, let's see, your Hamilton, Pacific. You guys are going to be the leaders. I mean, so you got to really be studious. You got to really, really get in there because these are the age right where you are today. It's going to make a difference on what you do later on in life. So make sure that you get into those books and, there'll be time to have fun later. Just really get studious at this point in your life. Okay? Okay. All right, I got some things for you, so don't go away. Just kind of hang loose for a minute. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, well, this is really a very good program that the city has, and a lot of people have gotten a lot of benefits from it. So, have you had your home insulated yet?
Me and my mom and my brothers and sisters and my dad, we live in a apartment.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So did you learn a lot? It's very educational, isn't it?
Yep.
Found out how much, where the money comes from. How many remember where the money comes from?
FAA and airport.
Oh, well, yeah, that's right. That's right. And upwards to $30,000 to $40,000. That's actually expended on the home. So I know a few people who benefited from it. I'm not in the flight pattern myself, so I have not benefited from it. Okay.
Yeah, and then we both go to the same school. She goes to middle school and I go to high school.
Yeah.
Someone can answer that question for me. Did you? There you go. This is your special gift. And for the rest of you, you all know when you go home tonight, make sure you take this back. Because in the markets, you're not supposed to use plastic anymore. So you don't know that?
No, I do.
Okay. All right. So all of you are going to get this, and inside I think there's a pin, but let me start here. But I decided to give you guys a little something. This is really a neat little thing. It's a whistle, it's a flashlight, and a keychain. Okay? Okay, here you go. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. You just barely made it in. There you go. Get in under the water. You go in a little compass on everything.
Kelso doesn't start until 6.
Thank you. You're welcome. There you are, young man. You want to come home?
Alright, where's the flashlight? There it is.
I think I'm one short, but I need one more setup.
You want to see your side?
It's okay.
Here you go. I'll be right back. I'll bring another bag. Okay, I owe one more, so I'll go get that and I'm sorry about the application. All right then. Okay. Thank you. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, let's all give Ms. Griffin a thank you hand of applause for just an excellent presentation. Thank you, Betty. Oh, you're more than welcome. Did you want one of these? No, everybody got one? You want one?
You don't have to have one.
All right. Thank you, guys. Okay. See you time. Okay, it was nice meeting you. Good luck. Good luck. All right. Good luck. Good luck to you. Okay, all right, guys, have a good school year.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, well, we're going to head on back down to the office.
Okay, if you see a girl named Jess, you guys see her. You never see her.
It's really late. And I came late, so all my grades are wrong.
As you can see, the mayor's course is central, and we have the elected officials, and then we have the city treasurer, the city clerk, and we have the mayor's support staff, city attorney, and then we have risk management, which is insurance, and we have for the mayor and the city council. How many council members are there again? Four council members and the mayor. So basically, there are 7 elected officials. And each council person represents approximately about 30,000 people. We have approximately about 120,000 people we believe in the city. I think the census only gave us credit for roughly about 114,000. And then we have the city administrator that you met last week, Mr. Artie Fields, and he has his executive staff and administrative service support, and the assistant to the city administrator. And then you can see that we have how the rest of it is divided. We have the finance department, and we have ITC department, and we have personnel, police department, public works, community development, parks and recreation, and we have the library. And then you see all of the different divisions that falls under each of them. So that's how the city is basically set up. So we have I forget how many employees now, because we have had some layoffs, but I guess roughly around about 800 full and part-time people that works for the city. Okay, now if you turn to the next page, we'll talk about the different kinds of cities. And we basically have 2 kinds of cities. So we'll have Amani. I'd like for you to read the type of cities. We have the 2 kinds of cities. Why don't you start reading there?
Types of cities. In California, there are 2 types of cities: charter cities and general law cities. Of the 477 cities in the state, 105 are chartered. Unlike cities in many other states, both kinds of California cities have boarded powers and enjoy considerable freedom in form of government, which may be established, and the types of activities in which they may engage.
Okay, so we basically have these 2 kinds of city, a charter city and a general law city. So why don't we have Amani White read what a charter city is? Take what? Oh, I'm sorry. I meant the one that, I'm sorry, I meant Naima Lamb. Yeah. I'm sorry, I meant the person next to me.
It's okay. What is this charter city? The authority provided in the state constitution to organize as a charter city is extended only to an existing city. Although general law cities now have nearly equal powers, charters are adopted by cities where special conditions create needs that cannot be adequately met by the general laws. An advantage of the charter form of government stems from the potential breadth of local authority, which may be exercised. Since the powers of a charter city are not restricted to only those outlined in the general state municipal I can't even say that word. Municipal law, a city can adopt a charter and custom tailor its organization and elected officers to provide for unique local conditions and needs. A charter can only be adopted and or changed by a majority vote of city residents, not by a vote of the city council. Citizens can establish the terms and number of council members and impose other limitations upon their city council through a charter provision.
Okay, now we're going to have Ryan read basically what a general law city is.
A general law city operates within its perimeters and guidelines of California municipal law. The advantage of a general law city is that general state laws have been subjected to judicial scrutiny and tested over the years, so there's relatively little confusion about their application. City charters, by contrast, can be much more complicated and can raise more questions about what can and cannot be done under state law.
Okay. Now, the city of Inglewood, what do you think? Is a charter city or is it a general law city? How many say it is a charter city? Raise your hand. You just read what a charter city is. How many say it's a general law city? Okay. Well, you're all wrong.
I didn't raise my hand.
So the ones who didn't vote, you know, basically we have our own constitution, you see. So we are a chartered city. It says here the first and the authority provided in the state constitution to organize as a charter city extended only to existing cities. And I best remember we were organized roughly about 1906. We just had our 100th birthday. So we are a charter city, and we're going to review a little bit in our constitution in our next meeting. Okay, now next week what I'd like for you to just to review as part of your homework, some of the assignments are the responsibilities of the city treasurer, and that's on the next page. It tells me what I can and cannot do, you know, by law. Basically, I'm elected by the people for a 4-year term. I've been treasurer now for 24 years. And as I mentioned, those of you who live in the city either vote for me, you know, or they vote for someone. I've been challenged a couple of times, but have managed to fend them off. And then, of course, we went over the warrant register, which is the next page. That's the schedule of bills that's paid by the city. I only put in 2 or 3 pages, but our bills run anywhere from almost $2 million every other week. So just to give you a couple pages of what the warrant register looks like. And what I want you to read also on your own is about a public bond, which is the next page. A public bond, so we know what a bond is. We said a bond is what?
Loan.
It's a loan, which is nothing but an IOU. Okay, then we have all kinds of bonds. Cities issue bonds, state issue bonds, federal government issue bonds, and the corporate organization issue bonds, and they all issue bonds because they want to do what? Raise money. Yes.
What does it mean by a government body?
What's that again?
What does it mean by a government body?
A government body?
Yeah.
Well, just like without the city, our government body consists of those of the elected officials.
Oh, okay.
Those are the ones who actually govern the city. Like our council, they are the policy makers. They make the policies, and our staff carries out their policies. Okay, and then you'll look to see how bonds are sold, and they talk about the main markets. I want you to read that on your own, just the first page on your own. So we're going to discuss about bonds. But then we're going to talk about the treasurer's report next time, and that's on the very next page. It's the consolidated treasurer's report. It shows you how I'm investing this money. I have so much money for the city. I have so much for the redevelopment agency. I have so much for the housing authority, and so much for the Public Finance Authority. And the redevelopment agency, basically a city has areas that they can, you know, actually areas that have kind of deteriorated. Remember, I don't remember Central Boulevard years ago, it had some old, you know, dilapidated apartments. It was a bad area, and you know, a lot of people didn't want to live in that area. So basically, you see what's there now is a lot of different vendors. We have Target. We have, you know, a very nice stores over there, and we have Costco and all of that's over there. And that's all in the redevelopment area. Okay, and so that's what the redevelopment is. So you take a look at the treasure report, and I have a little graphic presentation of how the money is also invested. You can take a look at that. Okay, so for next time, take a look at that, and we will discuss some other topics when we come back next week. So enjoy your holiday. Anybody going out of town? No. Anybody gonna do any barbecues at home? Yes. Okay, well, rest up, and I'll see you next week, and you know, and try and be on time so that we start on time. All right, see you next week.